Good evening, everyone. Show number one of a monumental Usyk Fury 2 fight week. Myself, Jay's Fight Talk, and Liam Tully going to carry everyone through it. You can tell by the look on all three of our faces this evening. We've got some crazy content to come this week. But thank you very much to everyone who tuned in and gave us a record week last week. That was absolutely brilliant. We'll cover off what we watched this past weekend now. Myself and Jay, we did the watch along, didn't we, across Monaco and Boxer.
We did.
We didn't cover the US shows on a live watch along, but we've since watched them. And I'm going to start in Tijuana, Mexico, because we're doing our inaugural No Punches Pulled award ceremony next week, shall we say. It was meant to be the Inoue government preview, but it's now turning into our awards. Evening, DJ Pat. Thanks for tuning in, my friend, as always.
We have to find the message. I've been looking for it today. There's the message. We were having a conversation. I said, imagine Munguia gets ironed out.
Yeah.
Just flippantly. Remember?
For me, upset of the year is a complete lock. There's no one that could come anywhere close to upset of the year. A guy coming in with 4 KOs out.
Usyk or Fury chinning the other one inside 2 rounds would maybe be close, but I think just on record of opponent, I mean, he was 25-1 against. 25-1.
Yeah, so Munguia had him down, didn't he? I think it was the
second
was it? I can't even remember.
And that was a heavy knockdown as well. Like he flew.
It's a beautiful leg hook,
didn't he?
Yeah, beautiful
I think for me watching it back, I think the problem for Munguia is he obviously knocked his opponent down. His opponent was brought in as cannon fodder.
No respect for the power.
And you could see he was beating him up on the ropes and then just left his hands down as if he won.
I've got a good rant, actually. I've got a good rant that I was thinking about that I want to just go off on a quick tangent about the Munguia fight. So big shout out to Derek, actually, who I was doing the watch along to Colby Covington and Joaquin Buckley, and he informed me in the chat on the watch along that Munguia's just been iced, and I was like, what? But yeah, my problem and my rant is where it comes is. So that was Munguia's 4th fight in 2024. John Ryder, Canelo, and Eric Bazinian last time out. And by the way, Eric Bazinian will wipe the floor with Bruno Surace. He would, the guy Munguia just beat before that. So Munguia's came in, Top Rank have given him a layup to, I call them showcase fights, don't I? He's fought in front of his home crowd in Tijuana. It's probably just a quick tick box exercise. He didn't need to take the fight because he's been active enough, but
rinse and repeat.
This is what, This is what happens when you make stupid fights. You're going to win stupid prizes. Munguia is lost, and Top Rank have potentially lost millions and millions of dollars in a big fight at 168 for what? What are you essentially doing? Why don't you just sit out and fight Christian and Billy? And if you get knocked out to Christian and Billy, you make millions of dollars in the process.
And that's a world champion, though. You've been knocked out by a no one. No disrespect.
Yeah, exactly.
His
it serves them right, in my opinion. It was stupid matchmaking in the first place. Yeah. And Munguia and Top Rank have been penalised for their own issues. That's my opinion on it. I've no sympathy.
Yeah, look, I mean, you're exactly right, mate. And it's to start the year with John Ryder and Canelo and then to end the year with this level of opponent. I mean, the drop-off in standard of opponent as well should be questioned. Leaving Golden Boy for Top Rank was meant to be a fresh start for him. And being an even without the loss, it's been an indifferent start, shall we say, the fact that his 2 opponents.
Wait till Thursday.
Oh, yeah, I'll score me all over it. Yeah.
But I tell you what, I woke up yesterday morning, done something very rare, didn't touch my phone. So we had about 80 messages in our group that I didn't see. Went downstairs, put the recording on, and literally sat there with my jaw hanging off my face when that punch was landing. Because I didn't... Yeah. It's very rare that an American fight happens. I wake up to watch the next morning, and I don't already know the result, but I didn't. I just watched it, and I was like, you just didn't see it coming. And me and you said yesterday, Jay, didn't we? Once Munguia had knocked him down, he'd mentally checked out of the fight.
Fight's done. It's just
all I have to do is just, I'll knock him out now.
That's what you've done. But look, Bruno Sucre has gone from being European silver champion, which is what he won in Paris last time out, to
changed his life.
Yeah.
He went life and death with a guy who was 10-26 in his last fight before Jaime Munguia. That tells you the level of upset that you witnessed in Mexico.
But no, go on, Liam. I'll let you
look at it now. Matchroom will probably look at him because of their base in America, etc. Golden Boy, Top Rank. Everyone now will want a piece of this kid. And regardless of the fact that it was the punch of his life, he will probably get exposed if he does a rematch with Munguia. That is what we'd expect to happen. It doesn't matter.
Rematch. He has to. He
has the chips, but he holds all the cards. Get Jaime Munguia to come over to Paris. It's not going to happen in a million years, but you get my point of view. Get him to come over to Europe and make it on your terms. He's absolutely changed his life. And no matter what he does now in boxing, that one right hand will, define the rest of his life. It was, as Pat said here, one of the best right hands I've seen landed this year, full stop.
It was a peach,
Regardless of the disparity in the opponent, it was a peach of a shot.
It was, but it was helped by the fact that Munguia threw 4 punches and then just stayed there, didn't have his hands up. So it's not as though he had to create an angle or find his way in. He just swung and Munguia took it. The problem for me with Munguia is I've always had a problem from day one. He's, 40-2 now? Or 40 and... Is he 40?
44-2, I think it is.
Right. 36 of them we've never heard of. 30-odd of them haven't got winning records. He has had a padded record. I'm not saying he's not good, but every time he's stepped up, he struggled, right? Yes, he beat John Ryder. There were parts in that fight that John Ryder made him look really ordinary. We know what Canelo did to him, and he got ironed out last night by somebody that he was expected to do that too. That was meant to be roles reversed, Munguia flattening him, new start, fresh start, being held back. I want X, Y, and Z. But instead, you could see he didn't know what had happened. He did not know what had happened. He was half complaining, half asking what had gone on. That's what happens when you have half an eye on another fight. You have to concentrate on what's in front of you, or we always say it, don't we? It's a potential banana skin. Every fight's a potential banana skin, but fights like this really are. And now, it's a way. And if he gets the rematch, it's still a long way back. And look, he's not guaranteed to win the rematch for me, because he's going to be gun shy now, because now he knows he can get flatlined and ironed out. He's never had that happen to him before.
There you go. Pat said the rematch clause has been activated. So yeah, look, I knew there'd be a rematch clause in there for that kind of fight.
Mate, you're absolutely right. If you spoke to a casual boxing fan before Munguia took on Canelo, let's go British here, they might have heard of him from when he fought Liam Smith back in 2017, 2018, I think that was. But other than that, tin can after tin can, had life or death in fights he shouldn't have had life or death in, and he was the perfect built-up fighter by Golden Boy. And Oscar knew what he was doing. Oscar knew he'd lose to Canelo, and then he wasn't going to renew his contract. It's easy to say that in hindsight, but that was already Oscar's plan. He'll lose to Canelo, and then that just gives us a good reason for why we're not renewing his contract. That relationship had broken down for a while. As Oscar
couple of fights before, and
Oscar seemed to be
doing a fractious relationship. They weren't the best of friends. Not they have to be the best of friends, but there was very little interaction between them at any sort of public event, press conferences, and
you need to have a bit of a personal persona with your management team when you were in fight week, and that was gone. That was like they were strangers that never spoken to each other.
You've got to be close. You've got to be close as a manager and a trainer and a boxer. Maybe not as close as some, as Sonny Edwards had said this week, but a good relationship always helps.
Yeah,
look, Munguia he's had the worst year of his career in every sense. Dropped by his promoter that's been with him since he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
Moved to Top Rank and was promised they get him a world title shot before the end of this year or an eliminator, and they delivered the 2 opponents they did. And then he's just gone and got chinned by a Frenchman. He can't even, beat.
Knock the skin off a right.
The Frenchman that can't even beat, fight his way out of a paper bag. If you look at his records before Saturday night, it's career suicide for him. And the rematch is being activated because out of embarrassment. Munguia this isn't going to sleep well.
I can't just move. You can't just move forward and try and fight someone else after that. Absolutely no chance.
If he loses the rematch, he's done.
His career is done. Yeah,
his career is on the edge now. His career is right on the edge. If he now goes on and loses this rematch, Jaime Munguia's career is done. And that, perfect 41-0 he had before Canelo. No one will talk about that. All they'll talk about is Bruno Sucre absolutely nailing him twice. That will be his legacy.
Yeah. He's got a lot of work to do, Jaime Munguia. I'm going to go to the Monaco and Boxer cards now, rather than go through each fight individually. I'll just come to the pair of you with thoughts on the card on the whole. I'll go through it myself quickly now. So, won't say too much about Terramona Jr. He fought what he fought, first round knockout. Looked like he got fast hands, to be fair, for a big man. I'm looking for. I think he's back out now on the Jaya Pattaya card in January. Maxi Hughes, what can we say about Maxi Hughes? He looked absolutely phenomenal. He 10-0'd Gary Cully. Easy work. We all called Maxi to win it, to be fair. I think when we talked about it earlier in the week, but I don't think any of us called a shutout for Maxi. So he's proved that he's not done. Gary Cully probably found out his level now, haven't we? Now he's lost to Felix and Maxi Hughes in pretty emphatic fashion.
Decisive losses.
Yeah, it's decisive, wasn't it? Chev C4, Beatrice Ferrari, look, it was what it was. Again, as we'll talk about later with Boxer, the level of opposition probably wasn't there. A lot of showboating, not much fighting going on. Chev C4 against Mosquera, it was a brilliant fight, Jay. We're on the edge of our seat for a lot of it. Mosquera came out, didn't he? Bombed Chev down in the first round. He looked all over the place, did well, came back into the fight. Chev,
I think it made me look at him different. I've watched it back. And Chev to come back, because he got dropped heavy.
He was
knockdown. It was a heavy. To come back and win a majority of the latter rounds, I think I'd said it could go around either way, a point either way, or a draw. I would not have been disappointed or argued either of those results. I think they should go again. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I'd like to see a rematch. Chev done well, but Mosquera looks a bit of a problem. He did count quite fast, Ramble. I'm assuming you're talking about Munguia. It did look quite quick. Go on, Liam. Sorry. Yeah, and then I was just going to say before I finish up and let you boys go, MJ looked spectacular, to be fair. I really hope we do see the Inoue fight one day, but the jury's out on that for me. But
Curiel lost as well, didn't he?
Yeah, we'll cover that one at the end. No, he didn't lose. It was a draw.
It was a draw, mate. Curiel
was a draw. I thought he lost.
Yeah.
No, look, on Chev Clark, he done what, like you've just said, Jay. The way he came back into that fight after the knockdown and not just survived in. I think I did give it to him by a round. I think when I watched it back on yesterday morning, I think I did give it to Chev by a round, but his comeback was impressive in that fight. Eddie's already come out and said they are going to look for a rematch straight away. Let's see what happens. Get that fight in London, middle of next year. Chev's going to learn a lot more from that loss than he would have done from having 3 or 4 more fights against Tin Cats.
He needs fights, doesn't he now? He needs fights.
He steps up this year.
I think that's been coming, hasn't it, for Chev? That he didn't look great against Zorro, he didn't look great against Apache before that one. I think that one's been coming for him. So, and he showed a lot of character, like you just said. So I don't think it's gonna, if he got bombed out in a round, it would have been devastating for him. But I think the fact that he showed a lot of heart, come back into it, landed some good shots himself. I think the defeat's not going to feel as bad on him. If you know what I mean?
He's going to come back. He's going to recharge, and he'll go again. Look, this is similar to what we've just spoken about with Jaime Munguia, but at the opposite end of the spectrum, kind of where Chev is at in his career. This is where we find out how much he wants it. And Chev Clark has said all the right things. What we saw from him after the decision was announced told me that he wants to right the wrong. He knows he made a few mistakes in that fight, which is what led to him getting dropped, and he believes he can right it, and I think he will. Beatrice Ferreira, I'll be honest, after the second round, I put it on ×6 and fast-forwarded through. It was rinse and repeat. She then goes around calling out Caroline Dubois, but saying Caroline's too young and too scared. That isn't the case at all. That fight will probably happen in 2025, if I'm being honest.
That's a good fight. That is a good fight.
It's a fantastic fight, but going around saying that Caroline's young and scared when, it's just the narrative they're going with. And MJ is a special talent, and he showed it again on Saturday night. He needs Inoue more than Inoue needs him, if you understand what I'm saying. But I don't see him getting the Inoue fight. I think Inoue is going to go down a set path over the next couple of years and avoid.
Not through fear, though. I'm sick of this
it's not fear,
narrative. Not saying you're saying that, but I'm sick of this narrative that he's scared of him. If it's a tough fight for not much gain and he can get the same amount of money for the less risk, then you're going to take that. That's not fear, that's business.
There's no way Inoue is definitely not scared of fighting MJ, but it doesn't look good on his behalf because he's avoided 2 mandatories that MJ has had. So it must be his team. Inoue is not scared of MJ. There's no way. But Inoue's team are not wanting to take that fight for some reason. That's what it is.
Yeah. And Inoue's not scared of anyone. That's the reality. Yeah. He's shown time and time again look, I know he's now not fighting next Tuesday, but that would have been another year of 3 fights in a year. And I know he wins a lot of his fights conclusively, so he doesn't have to have much time off the cuts, etc. But at the top end of boxing, to have 3 fights planned for a year, that's unheard of in this era that we're in at the moment. So it's a shame we're probably not going to see the fight. If we do, then look, colour us all surprised. And I think if it does happen, it will be Turkey that makes it happen at this point. And I know we all have our views on doesn't Inoue need to go out to Saudi? No, he doesn't. But if he is backed into a corner and told you have to fight MJ, it will be Turkey and Saudi that makes it happen for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Inoue take other routes to avoid MJ. Terry Harper is next. Yes, sorry, they did say that, didn't they? Terry Harper's next for Beatrice Ferreira. Pat, yeah, my bad. Easy fight.
There you go. Then it's Terry Harper, Caroline Dubois. Because for me, Terry Harper will beat Beatrice Ferreira.
Be a close fight. Yeah,
a close fight, but I can see Harper coming through it.
Yeah, and can't stand body shots. Beer throws the question. Yeah, look, to be honest with you, I would favour Beatrice Ferreira if I'm being completely honest. But I know what you mean.
She's a bit ploddy for me. I think Terry could potentially keep out of range. She's very, very ploddy.
Really?
She plants her feet and she sort of shuffles forward. Terry Harper's a little bit more light on her toes, and I just think if Terry doesn't get drawn in, which I doubt she will, because we've seen what happens to Terry if she takes a big shot. It's trouble, and Ferreira hits pretty hard. I think Terry could outbox her, and I don't want to say fairly easily. Let's say fairly comfortably at range. I think she could keep her at range. There'll be hairy, scary moments in there, but I would pick Terry Harper in that fight.
It's a good fight.
The performance she showed against Rhiannon Dixon in September, that if she goes in with that same game, you get what I'm trying to say. If she goes in with that, she'll expose Ferreira. Jay, you just nailed
away
it.
From her.
Yeah, she plods around. She comes forward in straight lines. There's no movement direction.
And for all the positives we can take from the performance on Saturday, she took a heck of a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Heck of a lot of shots. Some of those, she were expected to take because she was showboating and stuff. But there were times in that fight where she were coming out, as Liam said, in a straight line with the chin up in the air and getting clipped. Terry Harper won't allow her to do that as a one-off. She'll punish her every single time. And as I said, Terry Harper's got pretty quick feet. She'll get in and out of range. Before you know it, she's 5 or 6 rounds down. Especially, we always argue for the 3-minute rounds. But I think that could be to Terry's advantage, having 2-minute rounds, because she could pull away in the first minute and then just stay away from her for the second half of the round. Interesting fight. Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a fan of it. So, yeah, fair play, unification, then hopefully Matchroom make that. Boxer then, not too much to cover on. Vidal fought somebody who wasn't great. We got him and Chamberlain announced.
Vidal fought at heavyweight. Let's not skirt over the fact that Vidal fight was at heavyweight.
Yeah,
Bradford's finest, mate. Are we slagging off Bradford's finest? Didn't he fight Dan Garber? Dan's not a heavyweight. Dan's a cruiserweight.
And Vidal's a cruiserweight.
Vidal's a cruiserweight. So the fact he was at heavyweight.
I'll tell you why. So what happens with Dan? Dan's a cruiserweight, and then he got I think he fought Thomas Carty, Moses Atoma. He got offered short notice fights at heavyweight. He's a big lad, so it was easy for him to pile the weight on. He's just stayed at heavy. And I think he got offered this at fairly short notice. Again, I'm not going to pretend I'm involved in the camp, but as you boys know, I know them. Let's just say, but Dan is a natural cruiser that is sort of a tweener. He's sort of a bridger.
Yeah, bridger weight.
He can do both. But yeah, don't like to see Vidal boxing up at heavyweight. I don't think he's big enough. I think his better work will be done down at cruiser.
Look, Vidal got added to this card 2 weeks ago. So if we're being honest, that's probably when the opportunity came for Dan as well. And yeah, look, it wouldn't at all surprise me if Vidal went to Ben and Boxer and said, look, you want me fighting Chamberlain on the 1st of February, that's fine, but I need a run out the back end of this year. I don't want to go straight in, which is absolutely fine, but 2 weeks notice, what we got, it's just crap, isn't it? I mean, And then whilst we're on the
anything,
negative theme, let's talk about Bexy Mateus as well. How was she there with?
Yeah, that was shocking.
He said that.
It was shocking.
That was horrible. There's a couple of questions for me. How has somebody mandated that as a world title fight, and how she got into that position?
She's never left Colombia. She's never been in a scheduled 10-round fight.
She looked like somebody
WBA number 5. She was ranked.
She looked like a girl that had been plucked out of the crowd. Even and you might think I'm being flippant and looking for I'm looking to troll her here, but I said something on the ring walk. Even her fight kit didn't look right. Do you remember me saying? I said she looks like she's took her top off and she's got a bra on. It looked inexperienced. It looked like she'd been plucked out of nowhere, obscurity, thrown some shit in a bag and turned. It
made Lauren Price look like Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I mean, that finishing sequence was awful to watch. She got hit. She didn't know what she was doing. She like turned to the crowd. She tied her own hand in the ropes and kept hold of it, and then just got wiped out. The ref could have stepped in then.
Yeah, it did absolutely nothing. Like, it's not even worth talk. Like, I don't know what Lauren Price.
The only thing I will
the lack of depth within the female divisions, or some of female divisions.
The only thing I will say is the question of has Lauren Price finally transferred over to professional style is being answered this year.
We were just saying on the watch along.
Doesn't look like she can hit.
The only problem with Lauren Price is she don't sit down on her shots. I think if she sat down on them a little bit, bam, she stopped her.
I did watch that back and watch that moment.
Yeah, pretty much called her out for being feather-fisted just as she flatlined her.
She's finally transitioning into the professional style, and she's a world champion, but this is only the end of her second year as a pro. That's the thing to remember here. She's now 9 fights into a professional career, and yes, she's a world champion. But
I don't buy into the too young, too fast.
I was going to come on to that. Yeah,
she's not fast. She is not fast. She's good. She's a world level amateur / professional. She's been brought the way through right. Mm-hmm. She's got a fantastic pedigree, but at 40, Tasha Jonas is one of the most established amateurs and professionals ever to come out of Liverpool in terms of male or female. She's one of Britain's most decorated female professional fighters.
Yeah.
We're all forgetting, I'm not saying we are, but a lot of people are glossing over the fact that Tasha's been there, done it, seen it, the same as Lauren. Yeah, she didn't win a gold medal, but she's been there, Miss GB. She's boxed Katie Taylor and done pretty well. So I don't see anything in Lauren Price that makes me fearful for Tasha, other than that potential knockout that could come. But I think Tasha, it's harder than her.
Yeah, look,
I don't like the fight because I just think she's younger, fresher, and it might be the right time. But I'm not worried in terms of, I think they're fairly evenly matched.
Look, Tasha's performance was what we've become accustomed to seeing from Tasha in the last couple of years. And by that, I mean, she sets a very, very, very fast tempo. She hits hard, but she maintains it for the full 20 minutes. And she's done that again on Saturday night. Look, she's had 5 world titles now, which when you look at her career after the second loss to Katie Taylor on the Parker Chisora card when we were still in COVID times, if you told her she'd win 1, I think she would have, ripped your hand off. She's now done it 5 times. Yeah, it's exceptional. I mean, Boxer have done their teaser today that they're doing an all-female show on International Women's Day, which is the 7th of March. Look, I want to see this fight, but you've got a Cardiff native and a Liverpool native. But you're going to do the fight at the Royal Albert Hall in London. It's
an open goal. I said earlier, didn't I? They missed an open goal for me there, Boxer.
You've got the Motor Point Arena or whatever it's called in Cardiff now that would hold it. You've got the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool. I get the history and the historic side of the Royal Albert Hall, and when Dubois fought there a couple of times earlier in his career, it looked really smart for boxing, but. You're taking a Scouser and a Welsh girl and taking them to London. It doesn't make sense unless there's something a lot bigger on the card that we don't know yet. We know that this fight is happening and we assume that's what this is, but it's just strange, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Pat said, by the way, after the unification, Pinheiro's next. Second is Sandy Ryan by IBF. Mandatory get called out for either winner. Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
IBF will call the mandatory probably on the night of the fight. We know what they like.
IBF will call it in the 11th round.
IBF will call it as Tasha's walking down the ramp. It will just be called. But no,
Cutler beat McKenna. So Stephen McKenna lost his undefeated record, 15-0, 14 knockouts coming in. Jay's Fight Talk cleaned up on it. McKenna, as he kind of found his level a little bit, had the war with Joe Laws, but his stock rose a lot from that because of the actual how the fight was. It captured the imagination a little bit, but I don't think he's as powerful as he's made out to be. I think his record could be a little bit padded, shall we say. But yeah, like you say, Jay, I think he's a bit chinny as well. I think he's been down a few times, hasn't he, now in his last few fights.
I just think he puts a lot in, and he throws punches from low down. And when the momentum takes him over, say he misses, there's a massive target there. And all Cutler was doing was just letting him get his work off, and then paying him back with dividends. But Cutler was faster than him, and he just couldn't get used to his timing. He started quick. And McKenna is one of those fighters that needs the rhythm, and he just couldn't read Cutler. Could not read him at all, and was getting frustrated. And Cutler was just better than him. And I think he's exposed, as you said, that McKenna is not this killer, this concussive one-punch knockout merchant. Yeah, he stopped Laws. No disrespect to Laws, but he's not...
That's a certain level.
Exactly. Cutler has only lost once. Yeah, he got... badly beaten, but before, during, and after that, he's been pretty good. And I think he proved on Saturday night that he is of a level as good as, if not better than Stephen McKenna. And it was a surprise to a lot of people, but I picked him for the win. And
not to Jay's Fight Talk.
So McKenna is trained
this weekend. To be fair, and my picks were pretty good.
So McKenna is trained by Josh Pritchard. He's Shane McGuigan's second in charge.
Yeah, Bill and Smith
works in and around that gym. But
is he actually? Because Cutler's trained by McGuigan.
No, he's trained by Josh.
Oh, really? Right, because McGuigan held him up after the fight.
Yeah, but they were sat ringside. So McGuigan was sat ringside, and then when he was sat with Bill and Smith and Sweet Caroline, and then as soon as it finished,
so he's a little bit below the level that you need to be to get with Shane McGuigan. So
he's not good enough yet.
He's part of the B side at the moment.
Yeah, he's in the reserves.
He's working his way up to the.
Not earning enough money yet for Shane to be interested.
But no, it was a fantastic performance because a lot of people wrote him off. He was brought in here as, again, cannon fodder. I think the bookies had him 4-5 to 1 to
sixes
win.
For some, mate. He was even longer.
I got 7 to 2. I got 3.5 to 1. But I wasn't surprised because I picked Lee Cutler for the win. So I'm not Nostradamus, but as Sam said, Stephen McKenna has yet to show us, other than knocking out cans without being as disrespectful, he hasn't beat anybody good yet, has he? Really good. To justify the sort of the fanfare that surrounds him. I haven't seen that yet. I'm still waiting for that.
No.
And he cracked Lee Cutler with everything he had on Saturday night, and Lee Cutler was still there. It
didn't look like he had any pop in his shots, whatsoever.
I think he has for the first couple of rounds, but I think once he gets hurt, it just takes everything he's got away. I think he needs full cardio to be any good with his shot.
McKenna's got to go away over the Christmas and New Year period and have a real hard think about where he wants to go now. Because let's be honest, this year has not been a good year for him. Does he need to make some changes with his team? We know he doesn't. He trains at home. Does he need to become one of those fighters that moves away for a training camp? And
I think that works, man. I don't think home comforts help some fighters. I think you need to feel it. I think you need to be in camp. I think finishing a day's training and going home to everything that you're comfortable around. I just think for a lot of fighters it doesn't work. That's just going to the gym. I think if you go in and you have to suffer and be away from
an interesting mentality, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's.
Do you know what I'm saying? Be away. Yeah. I mean, I can only go on what I've seen, but I work away a lot, and I've always found that if I commute and travel, I'm not as productive as when I'm away from home, and then I come home at the end of, say, a working week, because I'm in the zone. I'm at work. I'll work that little bit extra because I'm just going back to an empty room. I'm not coming home to my home comforts and things like that. That's the only thing I can equate it to. And I think he needs, I'm not saying get rid of your trainer and change camps, and I'm not saying that, but maybe do your camps a little bit different. Yeah. Maybe. That's just a suggestion. Something needs to change. You can't, listen, if he goes and has another performance like that against somebody he should be beating, then, you know, he'll end up being a journeyman.
Yeah,
and I think he's better than that.
I did, as Pat, I saw that earlier, mate. That's brilliant news, and we'll cover that tomorrow night, definitely on No Punches Pulled. Good stuff. Go on, Liam. Sorry.
The other thing is McKenna's contract with Boxer was up after this fight as well.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. If Boxer now decide they don't want to go forward with him, then that just compounds everything that's happened, doesn't it? If he loses the Sky Sports platform, that could break him as well.
Ironically, I saw a tweet that he'd put out. No, sorry, was it a text message? But it said something to somebody about Cutler joining somebody. I can't remember who.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
you've seen it, haven't you? But on the small halls. Now, ironically, his next fight could very well be on a small hall show.
Yeah,
that is irony biting you in the ass in its finest form.
You just never know. Just to finish up then, boys, Raul Curiel and Alexis Rocha. We said it was going to be a good fight. It did deliver as well. I don't know if either of you caught it was the headliner.
Obviously not, because I thought Curiel had lost, so I missed it. Sorry, guys.
Curiel coming in undefeated. Rocha had lost a couple coming in. They may run it back, but it was a fantastic fight on DAZN. Look, for me, I think the draw
should it have been a draw.
I think it was a fair outcome.
Draw was fair,
I've watched it. I didn't watch it live. I watched it back, but both fun fighters actually. 147 is starting. Maybe not the stars at the minute, but definitely starting to become fun again. I think that division. So we'll look forward to seeing that one be run back. But I think that just about covers the
Dillian White.
I mean, come on. Like, what was that? It's a good point. Absolutely. There should have glossed over it.
I have seen. Well, I'll probably see similar next Friday. I'm going out Mad Friday on my work's Christmas do. I will see similar and probably better fights.
Outside Wetherspoons.
Outside spoons, pissed up. It looked awful. At one point, I thought Tete would. I thought he were going to stop.
Yeah.
White.
Dillian White always looks knackered after about 2 rounds, doesn't they?
They were both blowing out their ass. It didn't look like they'd done any cardio between them, did they?
Yeah.
They couldn't.
I said earlier to Liam,
let alone run a track.
Yeah, I think Chisora stops White if they fight for a third time.
I don't
want to see it.
I don't.
What I also don't want to see is I don't want to see Dillian White as cannon fodder for the young and up and coming.
Yeah. That's where
I think someone like Moses Atoma would hurt Dillian.
Oh God, Moses Atoma would run through Dillian like he would run through him.
But at points in that fight, Dillian White's hands started to look fast again, and then I think he'd spent his 30 seconds worth of cardio that he'd saved up and went back to just grabbing and pouring.
Yeah.
Little bits in that fight, he looked the old Dillian, but I think the old Dillian's possibly gone, and this is Dillian 6.4.
Yeah, look, I was on a Christmas do last night, so I woke up and watched it this morning. I did nearly throw my remote at the TV when that geezer started singing the Gibraltar national anthem. I can't lie, that was that was enough to tip me up. After watching Tete walk out in a polo shirt that looks like he just finished the day's work.
Yeah. What
with that? It was a strange fight. The highlight for me, as I said earlier, was Adam Smith on commentary. That was probably the highlight, having him back doing comms. But
fair few fans there, though, weren't there?
Yeah, it sold well, which is fantastic. But let's be really honest. Dillian White got the stoppage at the end of the 7th round that had life or death with Tete through 2 or 3 of those rounds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's Tete that was ironed out inside 2.5 minutes by Daniel Dubois before Dubois was where he's at now. So
it's not a good gauge for Dillian, is it?
No.
Dillian White, since lost to Tyson Fury, got a decision against Franklin that he didn't deserve. I think Franklin edged that fight at Wembley Arena.
Yeah.
Spewed out on the AJ rematch by failing another 2 drugs tests. So that's 4 drugs tests he's failed in his career.
Walk away time, innit?
Yeah, look,
he's done at the highest level. He must have a load of money. He's headlined loads of box offices.
Mate, he won't. That's the thing. He, in his own head, believes he can get back there. And you've just said you don't want to see him win against a Talma or someone like that. I don't, but you know full well Dillian Whyte believes he beat Moses Talma, so he'll talk himself into that fight. We will see.
I see him fighting Fabio Wardley.
They're friends, aren't they?
Fabio manages him. Sorry.
Does it?
Dylan manages Fabio.
All right, well, I don't see him fighting Fabio Wardley then.
I see Moses Talma and Dillian Whyte being made for the summer. Where it's made will all depend on if White's ban is being backdated and he's given back his British license.
Or Johnny Fisher or somebody like that.
Either of those two, Fisher or Talma in the summer, 100%. But it all depends on his license.
What about Vladimir Klitschko?
Oh, God.
Because apparently he's fighting Richard Riakpo, but it's Lawrence Okole. But I don't think it's either of those. But he definitely wants a comeback fight, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. On the subject of that page that we're all being caught out by.
I'm blocking it.
Yeah, mate, I'm going to have to because I just saw that Beterbiev and Bivol rematch was off because...
I'm sick of you two telling me that fake news, mate.
It's because it's got the Benson picture. That's what makes it so funny.
I saw that just you're about to do this.
It is quite funny, to be fair. But yeah, we'll leave it there for tonight.
Turkey's blocked that page because he put out his tweet about 10 million for the page. So Turkey's now blocked.
I know, it's great. Yeah, we'll leave it there for tonight. No Punches Pulled, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. We'll preview Usyk versus Fury 2, plus the undercard, plus the fallout of what's happened in the last week, which is plenty. Hopefully we get the rest of the undercard stay intact by Saturday, but we never know. Yeah, so we'll be there 7:30 for that. Lots more to come later in the week as well. Thanks to DJ Pat Rambler for tuning in and anybody else that did. Liam J, appreciate the time as always, boys. And No Punches Pulled tomorrow. We'll see everyone there for that.
See you there, guys.